welcome to Hack the Real Life podcast with Heather, Ashley, and myself, Keira, where we like to delve into the personal journeys of people in the entertainment industry with a little bit of cheeky fun. So thank you so much today for our wonderful guest, Pauline Pericaud. So Pauline is a French-born actress who now lives in London. Yep. Award-winning actress, award-winning actress, I'll have you know. And she's best known for Say What Now and playing Octavia in Anthony and Cleopatra. So thank you so much for coming on to talk to us today.
No, thank you for inviting me. I feel so blessed to be here, actually. Aww. I was like, when I received the message, I was like, oh, really? Are you inviting me?
And we haven't even paid you to say that, so thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, it's lovely. Great. So I don't know if you've seen the podcast at all, but the little way we do it is I start with a little icebreaker questions just to get to know you a little bit better. And then Ashley will do your journey, where you came from, how you got into what you're doing. And Heather will ask you more specific questions based on like maybe your time on set or stuff like that.
Sure. Perfect.
Are you ready?
Good. Yeah, ready.
Ready to delve into it. A nice, easy one to start with. Is there a song that guarantees to get you on the dance floor?
Oh gosh. I have to admit, I'm listening a lot to BTS right now.
To who?
And BTS, the Korean K-pop group. So I'd say all of them, all of their songs. Really? Probably, yeah.
I've never noticed the fascination with them. I think I might be too old.
You never know. I just started recently to listen to them, and they're just very varied. So whichever the mood, you can pick one, and it'll suit. So for the dance floor, I'd say probably the latest one they've got, Dynamite, is quite cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Excellent. What period of time would you like to go back to and visit? And is there any historical figures you'd like to shadow from the day?
Period of time. I think it's just the image we've got of it, but the 17th century, England, 17th century. I think I'd like to see that because it was not very populated, but yeah, I like a good walk in the countryside. So it feels very like Pride and Prejudice and stuff like that. Probably this time I'd like to see what was happening around.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and historical figure. That's a good question. I might take a little time for that.
You should do Jane Austen. You're just saying Pride and Prejudice. And she would be a good
Jane Austen is a good, that's true. I've never thought about it, but I'd like to ask her a few questions because she's wrote a lot, and you wouldn't imagine she'd lived that much experience because she was quite young as well. And that's a good point, Ashley, actually. Jane Austen is a good idea. I will take that. Yeah.
Do you have any weird food habits?
Well, I used to. I still have it sometimes when I crave it. But when I was little, I used to so in France we have like this, I don't know if it's everywhere, but we have a 4:00 sort of snack meal. And
no, but let's start doing that.
Yeah, no, it's the best.
Yes, please.
And yeah, you'll see. I used to eat at 4:00 nearly every day, about 3 spoons of Nutella in a bowl with cornflakes on top of it.
Oh yes.
And it's so good.
Oh
yeah.
That's not weird. That's beautiful. That's
like sardines and like Cheez-Its or something. And I was gonna be like, that's
lots of people, when I say it to everyone, lots of people say like, how could you eat that? Like they don't see the way people could eat that, and they find it weird.
We have like, the kids will make chocolate cornflake cakes and stuff. So you just melt a load of chocolate.
Exactly.
And mix it up. I've been
exactly
that straight from the bowl. multiple times.
Yeah. And people don't understand that.
A
It's so
Nutella
good.
Rice Krispie, but with cornflakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pauline,
Exactly.
you don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
Thank you. Right?
See ya. You don't. I get you, girl. I am there with you. In fact, I think tomorrow my craving may well be.
I represent all the viewers who are like, what? Because I'm like, that just sounds good.
They could. I suppose there is like the viewers are going to be like yes or no. There's going to be very much debate. I'd like to see the comments.
The no people can get out. They're not my kind of people. Okay.
Get out, Heather.
So, because of your previous answer to what song gets you on the dance floor, I might have an inkling of the answer to this question. But who would be in your ultimate boy band?
I can't say BTS again. It's boring if I say that again. My ultimate boy band. Can it be anyone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Possibilities are endless.
They are, aren't they?
You can go like old school with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and steal some from them. You can go
really old school with New Kids on the Block.
Oh yes.
Or Jackson 5.
Yeah, I was thinking actually maybe. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Probably Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Probably Elvis Presley.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds and I don't know if you know him, Stromae. He is a I hope I'm not wrong, Belgium singer and producer. He's really good at producing his own songs. He did it's French though. It's called Alors on danse, and it's been remixed a lot by a lot of artists. He's really good at doing songs. And he has this kind of like old soul as well. So the three of them could be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds gorgeous.
But yeah, check Stromae out because he's a good singer. Yeah.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice, probably my mom probably gave me a good piece of advice once. I'm gonna go with the classic of keep your shoulders straight from my mom.
Yeah.
Because whenever I watch the pictures and I'm always like a little bit hunched, I'm like, I should have listened to mom.
Oh, that is such a mum thing, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So I'd say that's a good piece of advice that probably every mom says to their children, but yeah, I'd like to follow that more. Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying that to my kids now. They'll be like,
I said to Lona the other day. She was like this. Oh, don't do that.
Doesn't look good.
Poor thing. So on that slight vein, is there a mantra that you kind of tend to live by? Is there something you keep telling yourself?
I used to be very concentrating on others a lot and not on myself. And recently when I've acted a lot more and done a lot more classes and everything, I realized that I need to focus more on myself. So I try to really absorb what I feel like on the day and really focus on what I feel like, and then I can focus on others. So I'd say, first me and then other. It sounds very selfish.
No, I think it sounds brilliant.
But first me and then I can concentrate on others.
No, absolutely. No, I like that. And I think that should be probably brought across for most areas of especially women's lives, because we tend to stretch ourselves in so many different directions and we forget that actually the ship doesn't run very well if we're not whole, if we're not fulfilled, if we're not happy, because there'll be cracks showing elsewhere. So no, that's a perfect mantra. Absolutely.
Right. That's true.
Do you have any really bad kitchen fails when you try to make something?
Any bad?
Kitchen fails.
Kitchen fails. Oh, so many. I don't sound French right now. You'd assume French people know how to cook. Well, I do, but kitchen fail. Oh, the other day, I tried to make a simple apple pie. Like simple. That's the simplest thing ever. And I didn't even manage to do that.
Like, simple. Did you make the pastry yourself?
I did the pastry myself. The pastry was all right. Not sweet enough, but it was all right. But it's just like the apples were not good. I don't know what I did with them, but it was not good. Maybe just like a simple fail.
Maybe it was the kind of apples, because they actually, depending on what you're doing, it requires like different types of apples. So you may have used an apple that wasn't good for baking. Like red delicious apples aren't good for baking.
Just blame the apples.
Yeah, I'll have to select the apples. Bad apples.
Yeah, bad apples. See, that's where it comes from. Them bad apples.
See, we found it.
Okay. So we've got 2 questions that we like to ask all of our guests because we just love the variety of answers. So one of them is, if you could remake any film using just the cast of the Muppets and only one token human actor, what would the film be and who would your actor be, your human actor?
Oh, can you repeat the question just so I'm sure that I can answer?
So you know the Muppets, like Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy and stuff like that.
Yes.
So if you could redo any film with just them in it, what film would it be? And then in their films, they tend to just have one token human actor. So which human actor would you use? It's a bit of a complicated one.
No, but it's interesting. I like that.
She's like, I've got an idea.
Just because I love this film, and that would be very, very fun. I guess the first Lord of the Rings would be cool with the Muppets.
Yeah.
And one token actor in it. I wonder.
Oh no, you've frozen.
Oh, am I frozen?
Okay.
I'm back. All right. One token actor or actress.
That's already in it, or it can be like somebody completely like random.
I'm thinking. I don't know why, but Kate Winslet.
Oh, okay.
Just came in my mind. Just because I think she could be funny. Like she's quite a funny actor, but she hasn't shown it much. So I think that'd be that'd be a fun combination.
She could be Gollum.
So I was wondering, like, who would you put her as? Like an orc or
elf? I don't know.
No, she can't be a classically beautiful character. No, she's got to be something ugly.
Yeah. Okay.
Gollum sounds nice. Or I don't know if you've seen it, or maybe the viewers probably know, the Lord of the Rings fan, but the I don't remember his name precisely, but the masked man at the gate of Mordor, who comes to it's in the 3rd film though. So maybe in the 3rd film, there's a masked man who comes on a horse, very horrid character, but I'd like to see her on this horse and then bring the bad news of, like, basically he's saying don't want to spoil it, but it's a deleted scene anyway, so I'm not going to spoil anything because it's not in the films. So he basically says that Frodo and Sam are dead, and I'd like to see her play that. That would be.
You're talking about
they really die? Did it really die?
I'm not telling you if you haven't watched it. You have to.
I haven't seen the last one. Did you see my panic? No.
You have to watch.
But you have me now thinking like of Pirates of the Caribbean, like if they were, you know what I mean, and then Keira, like, I don't know. I think that would be really funny now.
I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I do love that.
It is good.
I'm not going to say the word because I can't say it right, and they'll make fun of me.
Oh, the Muppets, not the Muppets, the Muppets.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
This one.
And the other question we always ask everybody is, realistically, how long do you think you would survive in a zombie apocalypse? Like, if you got a skill set you're bringing to the table, or are you literally just going, kill me now, I can't live without Wi-Fi?
To be honest, I think I wouldn't be that bad. I'm not sure I say that. I'd probably be killed by the second. But I know how to fish. I could fish. I know how to live in the woods. I know how to find, it's going to sound ridiculous, but I know how to find mushrooms.
Yes.
It's a skill. I know how to, I don't know how to say the sports itself, but I know how to use a bow and arrow.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can last.
I guess I could be all right.
You can definitely be on our team. Like, this is the only reason we ask this question is so we can keep a little tally of when the zombie apocalypse does come, which of our previous guests we have to rally up, and which ones we can be like,
I'm sorry, gonna do that. Our team is full. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So excellent. You are definitely on team. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Good. That's good to know.
Well, come a knock in. Thank you so much for entertaining my ridiculousness. I will pass you on to Ashley for slightly more highbrow conversation.
I always like to start off with, where are you from and how did you get into acting?
So I'm from France originally, so southwest of France. If people know Bordeaux, I'm not far from there. So I came in, that's the second question. Yeah, I came into acting. So I remember the first encounter with acting and theatre was when I was about 10, probably. And it was, I don't think you have that in Canada and the US and wherever. It's quite a French thing to do. In primary schools, you have an end of the year, it's called a kermesse, which is basically a presentation from all the classes to the parents and the public. And the last year I was in primary school, we did a play, and I remember wanting to be the lead so bad, and I wasn't. But I really wanted to be the lead. I had nothing to say, and I was so annoyed that I didn't have any dialogue. And I remember this really wanting to be speaking in the play. And a few years later, I started theatre because of a French/literature teacher who made us basically do trials by reading The Little Mermaid. And she was like, "Oh, Pauline, I think you should do theatre." And I was like, "Okay." And I never stopped. So yeah.
And then we talked about that you're currently in the UK. So how did you transition your acting from, your learning and your training? You did some training too. So I guess back up. Did you train?
Yes.
Or did you just say, I'm going to be an actor and I'm going to move to the UK and kind of pursue?
So yes, I did train a little. It was basically I went to boarding school. I decided that I wanted to go to boarding school because there was a high school that was very focused on theatre, and it was quite rare in France. You have just a few ones. So I went to boarding school there, and I had my A levels with theatre that was included in the program. So I did train under that. And then before I moved to the UK, I moved to Paris for 3 years. And there I tried a few auditions and things like that. And then I was like, no, I want to act in English. So I moved to the UK. Through university, actually.
Okay, awesome. And then, so what was your process like with moving into the UK? Because you've been there for how many years now?
I've been there for nearly 7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Didn't realize, but yeah. So I first, when I moved to Paris, I moved to do a degree there. It was a degree in modern languages, pretty basic. So I was basically studying English, which is pretty good when you want to talk in English. And so there was a program called Erasmus, which is basically an exchange program with universities. And I moved to first Southampton, which is a town in the south of England. I did that for 1 year, and then I was like, I'm going to drop out of university. That's not what I want to do. I want to act. So I moved to London there. And that's where in London I started training, all the training in acting. So it took a little while before coming back into acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then how was that process, or what has been your process after moving to London? You did some training. So kind of how did you start, I guess, working professionally in acting instead of training? How was that transition?
It was, I think I'd say it's a slow one. It's not a finished one. I started first with a course that was very like fully packed with everything going from acting on screen and acting with monologues and what did we have? How do you say, stage combat, stuff like that, where there was really like a lot of things to learn from, because I didn't know what I had to improve, like which skills I had to really improve. So I thought that was a good acting course to take. And then from then on, I really liked, there was a little bit, that was a method acting. I went into method acting. And from there, I think with the skills grew, obviously, with that. And I found a few jobs here and there through really connections and workshops and stuff. And yeah, and then through websites, a lot of people probably know in the acting, Mandy. That's quite popular in the UK. I don't know if it's as much in Canada, but in the UK it's very popular. So yeah, through Mandy, found a few jobs, short films, theatres. That's where it started to be more professional. Yeah.
Awesome. And then how was your support system, like with trying this career out?
Yeah. First, it was my family, my parents, and they were always a bit wary, obviously. I think a lot of parents are with their children's career, but they were always behind me. Like they never said no, like straightforward no, apart from maybe the degree that I did in Paris, but that was another story. So yeah, they were always behind me for acting, and they always were like, okay, we'll follow you. And then it was my friends who literally, I had 1 year where I took 1 year. Yeah, 1 year where I just worked. I worked in retail because I had paid rent. And one of my friends, I was complaining every day, being like, oh, I can't act. I don't know what to do, basically all day long. And she was like, just change job and go for it. Yeah. So she kicked my ass, basically. I don't know if I can say that, but
you can.
She kicked my ass, and she helped me get back on the train. So my friends are really supportive. That's really good.
With getting back into acting with your friend, helping you kind of nudge you back into it, what was that like? And did you get an agent? Do you have an agent now?
I don't have an agent. I've never had an agent. No. It was basically just getting all the money that I had saved doing this job and spend it on classes. Yeah. That was the process. I was basically finding the classes that I could do in London that were affordable, but that I think had good reviews and could help me into getting back to it. So that was really finding like the first class I mentioned with all the different parts in it, and really focusing on spending my savings on things that would help my career. So yeah.
And then what has been some of your best and worst auditions so far?
I'll start with the worst. Yeah. The worst was my first one. I knew nothing about screen acting because I was 16, and that's when I was training in theatre for my A levels. And I went in, did my piece. I think I don't remember it well. It's been a long time now, but I think I forgot most of the lines. I did it a few times. And then the casting director just looked at me and I was like, you're just too theatrical. I was like, oh, okay. I just didn't know what to do. So because I had trained so much on stage and on theatre, I just didn't know how to act in front of a camera. It was good to learn that, because it's good to know that it's a skill you have to learn. So it was a good realization for me afterwards, and be like, okay, I need to go into realism now. So that was the worst one. The best one, I think, was for a short film I did a couple of years ago, and it was a self-tape. It was pre-COVID. Yeah, pre-COVID. Oh, long time now. Don't remember. So pre-COVID, I had a self-tape to do, and it was, the project was which was really good. It was very detailed in the casting call, which I'd love to have more casting calls like that, where they detail the project a little bit more, obviously, for us to know how to prepare the audition. And because it was so prepared, I could really anticipate what they wanted from it. And I really didn't hesitate in sending it. The moment I saw the advert, the casting call, I did the self-tape straight away, and I sent it straight away without waiting a second. And they basically answered straight away saying, "You're the first one. I think we don't need to see more." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." It felt really good. So yeah, I think from this experience, I'd say don't wait a second, just go for it. Because the more you wait, the more they're going to have to see more, and it grows really fast. So yeah.
I feel like that's one tip that I always hear from anyone I talk to. It's like, submit it. If you can submit it that day, you submit it that day. If you can submit it the next day, you do that day, because the sooner, like you said, if they see you and you're like, that's what I'm looking for, then give yourself a little bit more of an edge. So that's great. Yeah, great advice there. And then what would you say has been your most successful thing so far?
I'd say, does it have to be a role?
No, it doesn't even have to be necessarily
acting. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'd say, well, yeah, I'd say it's still related to acting, but I've been admitted in Identity School of Acting in London. Awesome. And it was great, because all the workshops I did before were without an audition. So I used to do a lot of auditions before, and then there was a period of time where I was very unsure of my skills, even because I didn't audition for the classes. So I was like, sure, I pay for the classes, but I don't know if I'm good. So this one I had to audition, and I got selected in the professional level, which is the highest level they've got. And I was like, oh, that feels like reassuring. I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So I think that's good achievement I've had lately. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Well, that kind of concludes my part. I'm going to pass you on to Heather now.
Yes. And I like to talk about how you prepare for roles. So how one thing I wanted to ask though before is, you talked about in that like audition, they said you were too theatrical, you had too much theater training. So how did you transition from theater to film? Was it just more classes that you took, or what specifically did you do to stop being so theatrical in your film audition?
It's a good question. There was a long time between this audition and the next one I had. And during this time, I went in, obviously I matured, I was 16 at the time. So I think I was not ready as well for the kind of auditions that TV requires. So I think what helped me was really to see acting, the acting career as a business, and really focusing on what the audition wants from you, because I was just playing at the time. So realizing that that acting was a business made me realize that also I need to take a step back and really focus on what they want to see from me. And that was through I listened a lot to tips from casting directors. I watch a lot of videos all the time from many casting directors. There's lots out there on YouTube, and same from what you guys do with podcasts. I think that's great, because then young actors or actors all around the world can just hear lots of advice. So I think that helps in these cases. So yeah.
And I think that's important. I'm glad that you said that, because you do have to think of it from a business perspective, because I think we're very like connected people, you know, that human interaction, and
exactly
business side is so different from it. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And we're all in this together. So that's what not as scary, because we're helping each other, and we're reminding each other that it is a business. Okay, let me help you with that. So yeah, definitely.
So how do you prepare for your auditions and days on set? Do you have any specific routines that you do, or the process that you go through?
I do have a few things I do every time. First, I concentrate on the physicality and being in my body. So everything that you can take from classes, for example, warming up your body, can be yoga, it can be anything. I do a sort of physical journey, and then I warm up the voice, obviously. And I think to prepare for audition, that would be on set when I'm already off book and everything. For auditions, I'd say it's really about concentrating on the text and what the text brings as emotions. So really, it's very can we say scholar? Yeah, scholar. It's studying. It's studying in the sense of you study reading, and you study how to really find the secrets of the text. And a lot of actors will know, but the ones who don't know yet, for me, the audition process will be that, really finding emotion through the text. Yeah.
So
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does completely, because again, I think a lot of actors starting out think it's just a script, I read it, I put emotion into it, and that's it. But it's studying it, it's breaking it down, which really takes a very long time to do before you even can audition or go out, you know, for your
exactly
day on set. So you won Best Actress in the MoCo, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
International Film Festival last year in 2021 for the short film Say What Now. So can you tell us about the process of working on that film and how it was to film it when you guys were in two different countries, two different continents?
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning that. So I worked with Chris Bacchus, who you've had before on the podcast, who's just like the most amazing person I've ever met. I admire him so much. He always has so many ideas. He's always like, so dedicated as well. So dedicated. So we had tried a few skits before that. So we knew how to handle the technicality part, which is basically filming on each side and then putting it together. And the process is basically just trying different, I think for him as well. I never really asked him, to be honest. Did I? I don't remember. But anyway, for my part, it was really much trying different things, and then we would adjust depending on what we were finding that matched the script. So we would first pitch the script and see if both of us liked it, and then creating it apart and then putting it together. It was very fun to do. And I think for him as well, we'd never expect to have it go this far, because it was just like a fun thing to do that actors do, you know, just play together and put it like even on Instagram, and then for it to go to festivals, it was really great.
I think sometimes that's how the best things happen, is you're just doing it for fun and to play around. Because I mean, that's what we hear all the time, you know, create your own content. That's what's going to fulfill you. Tongue-tied. But yeah, and you guys totally did that and smashed it. Like that was amazing. When I was seeing it on Instagram, I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I mean, how did you feel? Like, I mean, I could just imagine you were like, what?
Yeah, literally. Well, Chris did a lot. I mean, Chris did the direction and the editing. So all the the merit to him for this. But when he told me, oh yeah, we won that and we won that, and every day he's like, oh yeah, you won we won short film, and oh, you won best actress, and he won a lot of best actor too, mentioned that. I was like, oh, so on the moment it doesn't feel real. I'm like, it's okay. And then you see it on IMDb and you're like, oh, okay, it's there now. And it feels great. Even if it's like a festival that's not from the UK where I'm from, just the fact that it's a festival, it just feels great. So
that was the
quite amazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So thus far, what do you feel has shaped your career the most, where you're at today? Like a specific role that you performed, or it could be a class or training?
Yeah, I think there would be a few. One that comes to mind definitely is I was 16 as well. Lots have happened when I was 16. But I did play or 17 maybe. I did play Hamlet and Hamlet, like the role. And it was just for one scene, but it felt so great to play a man. It felt so great because particularly in Shakespeare, I don't know if you know a lot of, but there's not a lot of in the female roles, there's not a lot to say, and it's more often, apart from maybe from Juliet or these kind of roles where they're a little bit bigger, but when it's like for example in Hamlet, Ophelia, it's not as elaborated emotionally. So when I had to play Hamlet, I was like, oh, I can definitely go for it. And that's when I discovered how much you could play with a role. So that was definitely a turning point in acting. And I'd say all that I do with Identity School is really shaping how I act, because we've got great teachers, I have to say. I'm not promoting it, but we do have great teachers, and I learn a lot from them, and from what I can do myself through them, which is great. I think it's a great way to work. So yeah, I think that's it.
Is there anything that you're working on right now that you can tell us about?
More short films. Don't know if I can say, but yeah, okay. because I don't know much. That's why I can't say, because I don't know much. But yeah, just more short films, and I concentrate on the school as well at the moment. So yeah.
So where say like 5 years from now, what are your goals? What are you hoping to achieve in that?
I'd hope to have an agent by then. That'd be nice. I've been trying to achieve that for quite a long. It's quite difficult in the UK to get an agent because you need to be not for every agent, but you need to be on a specific website which is called Spotlight, and you have to have 4 accredited credits on there, which is not easy to get in the UK, unfortunately. On my side, I feel like it's more difficult. So I'd hope to have an agent by then, and yeah, I've had maybe a few roles here and there, either in theatre, film, TV, commercials, even just to be on set a little bit more, yeah, and to have more a feel of a part-time or full-time acting. It doesn't have to be full-time. I'm not expecting too much, we never know, but at least to be a bit more in there. Yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick? I just thought of it. Sorry. So you're from France. How did you go about, I think that we could have some listeners that could be useful. How did you go about saying, I'm going to be an actor in a different country? How did you go about doing that?
I never really thought about it. I think it was for me, it was very natural to go there, because I've always wanted to act in English, and I've always wanted to go to the UK to live. I think I remember the first thought I've had was when I was 9. I was like, I'm going to go to the UK one day and live there. So I think it was quite natural for me in terms of finding how to act and act here in the UK. It was very much with the feeling. In France, I've had a lot of thought about acting in France, because obviously that would be the natural way to go. You act in the country you're in. But I felt it was a bit, for me, it was a bit closed up. Can I say that? Closed up, yeah. It was a bit limited in terms of how to enter this. It really felt like a bubble, the world of acting in France. That was very difficult to get in. And even if I had a few auditions there, here and there in Paris, it did feel like maybe I didn't have enough training anyway, and I didn't know where to get the training. There's obviously, how do you call them? I forgot the word now. Conservatoire. I don't know if that means anything to you, but yeah, conservatoire. But that's more, again, centered on theatre. So I was like, oh, I would have liked to go there instead of studying modern languages, but I didn't. And then the classes seemed a bit expensive at the time for me. I was still a student. And so when I really said, okay, I want to act, I decided to just not act in France and go to the UK. Because in London, I had researched the classes and I knew there were a lot of options. So that really gave me a push. Yeah.
So you just researched schools in the UK, and that's how you came over. It's strange because I didn't have much doubt about finding schools in the UK. Strangely, because London is quite a buzz in terms of acting. Even if Paris is as well, it just felt more international. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for more opportunities. So I didn't have much doubt about going there and not finding anything, because I kind of knew I would find stuff. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
That's what we like to hear. Our listeners like to hear, because like what you said earlier, it's good for people who want to be in this industry to hear from people who are actually in it right now, working towards their goal and how they went about doing it, because not every path is the same, and there's so many different ways to get there. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when we end, we always like to ask for 3 words that you would use to describe your career or your path so far, and 1 piece of advice that you wished you had had when you were just starting out, or that you would give to someone who's just starting out in this industry.
Okay, so 3 words about my career. I'd say curious, could be 1. Second, unpredictable. And third, motivating. I never stop being motivated whenever something comes. So yeah, I guess that 3 words. And then a piece of advice, to never give up, and to follow your guts, and don't listen to people who contradict your feelings and what you really feel like your instincts guide you to, because you know better. You know yourself deep down, and you know where you're going to. So just, do whatever you feel that instinctively you do to reach your dreams, and listen to yourself. I guess that's what I give myself when I was younger. Thank you.
Which is great advice, because I think often we let their doubt sway us, their insecurities dictate what we do. Yeah.
And that's one of the regrets that I've always, I cannot say it's a complete regret, but if I had the option to choose and to listen to myself, I would have gone into acting straight away out of high school. and not studied, which is the path that many people do. They go to university and they study something, and then they realize that it's not the things that they want to do. And then, so yeah.
But I think there is something sometimes when you don't go straight into acting and just living life, you know, where you can get some experiences that helps you really become more, I guess, confident or
exactly
more secure on what you want.
Yeah, that's why I say regret. It's not really a regret either. You're right, because I have learned a lot from what I've and I think I was, like I said, I was not mature enough at 17 to just go out and be, yes, here I am, I'm an actor. That was not me at the time, and I've learned to become this through the experiences. Yeah, definitely, you're right.
You're 100% where the universe wants you to be right now.
Exactly, and I think you guys are too.
So where can our listeners find you on social media? And I should have added this earlier, where can they, is there a place where they can watch Say What Now specifically?
Say What Now is actually very easy to find. Not a lot of people know, but it's on I think it's on Chris's Instagram as well, but it's on my Instagram. So if you want to check, it's Pauline, my first name, and _ Pericaud. And yeah, you can find it on the page actually. Just scroll somewhere, you'll see both of our faces and you click on this one and that's going to be the short film. So it's there. Yeah, social media, so Pauline _ Pericaud. I think, no, Twitter is Pauline.Pericaud. Don't know why I chose another punctuation, but here it is. And yeah, that's my my social media. Check it out. No, I'm kidding. You can if you want.
Well, thank you so much, Pauline, for coming on. We're always so excited when people say yes, they'll come on, and sharing your personal journey. You've had so much insightful things, and I know that the information that you shared today is going to be really helpful, because I think we have some listeners that are actually in France. So that's why I was kind of asking how you transitioned and things like that. So
that's good questions. Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you for inviting me. It was great. I had fun.
So much.